fishing. Let's go fishing. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to miss this chance. Land the biggest fish. We'll find us a shady little spot, not too cool, not too hot. Perfect for a little fishing.
Hi and welcome to another Deggers fishing video. So I'm on the banks of the River Severn today. It's quite an overcast and sort of moody type morning. I'm actually not that far from Ironbridge, so it is the middle Severn. Now, slightly unusual for me, it's a daytime session. I've got a day off work, so I've just come down for a few hours in the day. Now the river itself is very high, it's up at 2 meters, so it's carrying a good 4 or 5 foot of extra water. So, and it's quite coloured, so obviously it's going through quite a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk the banks and try and find some appropriate swims for the conditions. So of course I'm looking for slack water, maybe a nice crease, somewhere where I can cast downstream. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be able to cast right out into the middle or the far side, there's just too much water going through. We'd never hold out there. I'll be using smelly baits as well, and yeah, we'll see if we can find some barbel. Weather forecast is the middle of October, it's not really too bad. It's about 15-16 degrees today. There's a small chance of rain, let's hope that doesn't come. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to a daytime session. Let's just hope we get a few barbel. Right, so I'm going to carry on. Once I've identified a few likely looking spots, I'll come back to you. Hi, well I've identified a few swims which I think are looking likely in the conditions. I've started in this particular one here, I'll show you the swim. So this is the swim I've chosen. There's a bush here and tree sticking out here, which is causing a nice crease. You can see the main flow is over here. So I'm sort of casting on the edge of there, and then obviously it'll swing a little bit in. But I'm hoping, you know, to fish down here somewhere and see if there's any barbel on this inside. There is another tree down here as well. So this whole sort of inside bank is fairly well sheltered. So that's the plan anyway. So I'll spend a few hours here, see how it goes, and if not I can always move. Catch you later. I've been fishing about an hour so far and nothing yet. There's quite a lot of leaves going down, so I mean I plan to recast every 15-20 minutes anyway, but it's a case of having to. So I'm using 2.5 test curve rod because I'm casting heavy feeder. This is a 5.5 ounce feeder. It's a 15-pound main line, 12-pound fluorocarbon hook length. I've got soaked pellets in the feeder after they soaked overnight. There's a bit of ground bait mixed in with them as well. And then I've got a Frankfurter 14mm pellet on the hook. So I'm only using one rod simply because of the water. I'm having to cast downstream, and then, you know, trying to get 2 rods down here would be a bit tight. So it probably just makes sense. And if you want to recast quite frequently as well, probably makes sense just to have 1 rod rather than trying to fish with 2. So just let that into the bottom, and then leave that on there. There we go. So it's not, by the time it hits the middle and then comes back around in the flow, it's sort of hopefully in this sort of inside third, if you like. I'm going to give it another hour here. If I don't have any luck in the next hour or even any line bites, then I'm going to move further down, I think. Right, well I've moved from that swim, spent a couple of hours in there, no signs really of any fish, no line bites, no nothing, so I've moved to another swim. This is the swim I've moved to. So we've got the main sort of flow over here, but on this inside there's a bush, the bush down here, and I think we've got some slackish water sort of here. So I'm going to give this a go anyway, see how we get on. It is a beautiful setting here. You've got sort of the autumn colours on the trees on the far bank, all the bronzy golden leaves. There are deer about. I heard some male deer sort of calling. Not actually spotted any, but and it's sort of out the way here as well. There's no real traffic or anything. It is a beautiful tranquil spot to fish. Just really need some barbel now. Oh. Well, it's just started to rain and I've just managed to hook a fish. Right. Yes. I mean, just started to rain. Oh. And I've managed finally to hook a barbel. Oh. Oh. As always, they fight very hard. They always fight, which is why we love them so much. It's hard to tell about size because I've got a 6-ounce lead on, so it's bound to feel heavy. Oh, okay, there it goes again. Oh. In the net. Get in. Right, well here's that fish. I reckon it's about £6. Not going to bother weighing it, but I'm pretty sure it's around that £5.5, £6 I reckon. But very welcome. It's been a hard day, and yeah, not that long to go really, but really pleased to manage to get just that one. Right, let's get it back. Hi, well that's the end of the session. So I did what, a couple of hours in the first peg, no joy at all in there, not even a line bite. I've done about 2.5 hours in this peg, so I've been here about 5 hours in total. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for. I need to be somewhere else soon. So just that one fish, about £6 I reckon, didn't weigh, it wasn't really worth weighing, but it was still nice to get that one fish. And even though it's not been a really productive day, it's still great to be out on the side of the river. You know, this stretch of river here is very picturesque. It's very quiet, very tranquil. There's no one around. All I can really hear is the odd sheep, a few birds, the odd deer in the distance, and the river itself trundling past. That's it, that's all you can really hear. The fishing was quite difficult really. I mean, the river is high. I was using what, 5.5 ounce feeder and a 6 ounce lead. So yeah, quite difficult fishing, but it was the leaves that were really the issue. The leaves were gathering so quickly on the line. Within a couple of minutes you could see the leaves were starting to gather. Within 10 minutes the rod was bent around with leaves. So yeah, that was really quite difficult. I started off with my rod quite high, but then I figured because it was high, maybe the leaves were hitting the line and sort of being forced by the flow down the line and gathering quite quickly. So I levelled it out so it was much lower. My thinking being the leaves would maybe not have a chance to slide off the side and maybe wouldn't gather so quickly. It seemed to work. It definitely was taking much longer for the rod to bend right round with the leaves when it was lower down, so definitely worth sort of thinking about. As long as you can cast downstream, which I can do here, yeah, it's definitely a way to go. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the session. I certainly enjoyed being out in the daytime and, you know, making a change from an overnight. As I said, I've got to go, so hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe subscribe. Cheers. See you soon. Hi, welcome to a second day session on the River Severn. So if you watched the video this far, you've just seen the first daytime session. Difficult session. River was very high, 2 meters. A lot of leaves coming down. Quite a bit of foam on the water as well, so there could have been sewerage. I did manage the one barbel, as you've just seen, but yeah, slightly disappointing day. You know, in those circumstances, if you do find a shoal of fish sort of holding away in the slack water, you can still have a good day. But I tried 2 different pegs, but I obviously didn't find a shoal of fish. But still, managed the one. Anyway, it's now a week later. I'm on the same stretch, but a completely different part of the stretch. It's quite a long stretch. I've had a walk around, quite warm now. I found a peg. The river's still quite high. I mean, last week it was carrying 4 or 5 feet of extra water. It's probably carrying a couple of feet of extra water today, so still quite high, still quite coloured, but I'm going to give it another go anyway. So I found a peg. I've never fished this peg before. I'm going to get myself set up and then I'll show you the peg and how we're going to tackle it today. Wow, this one is literally, I've cast in 2 minutes and this one's gone. What an amazing start. Literally, I'm not joking, 2 minutes this one. I was just about to video to say rods are out, this is the swim, but yeah, not had a chance yet. That's a great start to the session. Wow, that was a very strong second run. Either that or the clutch is too loose. Here we come again. No. Gone back. Come and have your photo with Andy. Come and have your photo with Andy. I'm very keen to have its photo, is it? Excellent start. Right, well here's that fish. I mean, what a start. Literally first cast was only out 2 minutes. Not massive, £6.7, but still very nice. Hopefully a sign of things to come. Right, well, let's get the rod back out. Hopefully there might be a few more about. Blimey, before I've even got that other rod out, we've got another one on. Oh, yes. I was literally, had the other rod above my head, about to cast, when this one went. So, I've still not introduced you to the swim as such, but... Ooh. You gotta love the way barbel fight, ain't you? Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. I mean, this is a 2.5 test curve rod as well, but it's still fighting really hard. Right, here's that fish. 8-7. Apparently there's a match on here today and I didn't realise, so after a cracking start I'm going to have to pack up. Gutted. Right, let's get the fish back. Right, well, what a disaster that is. There's a match on this stretch today. For some reason I thought it was yesterday, but there you go, my fault it is today. But really disappointing. I literally just set up in that swim. Within 2 minutes one rod went off. I weighed that fish, so 5 minutes later the other rod went off. So I literally had 2 fish almost immediately, and now I've got to leave. So yeah, could have been a really good day, but there you go, we'll never know. I'm not far from another stretch that I'm a member of, so I'm going to have a drive up there and see if there's anywhere worth fishing up there. So hopefully I'll see you soon on yet another stretch of the Middle Severn. Right, well, what a morning. So obviously I went to that first peg this morning. Great start, 2 barbel within, what, 15 minutes. Then I found out there was a match on, so I had to move. So I drove to another stretch, which is only about 6 or 7 miles from there. Got there, a match on. So I couldn't fish there either. So now I've come further up the Severn, not quite as far as Shrewsbury, but a fair way up to the Severn now, about another 15-20 miles from where I was. And I've managed to find a peg here, which I think looks quite good. I don't know, I've never fished this peg before, so we'll see. I'll show you the peg. So we're not fishing yet, but I don't know what you can see on here, but there's quite a flow going through. The river's still a good metre up, but on this inside here there's a nice slack area, and this could be a good spot. So I'm going to put my left hand rod sort of down here. That's going to have a 14mm pellet on it. The other rod I am going to try and chuck maybe just into that faster water with a heavier feeder on. So it's a 2-ounce feeder on the left hand, 3.8 I think it is or something on the other one. So I'm going to try that one out there and see if it's any good. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to fish this one for a bit and catch a few fish. Well, before I've even got the other one out, I think there might be something on here. I've not even got the other rod out yet. Yep. Oh fuck. Ooh. Let's stand here. Oh, nearly went in. I don't know whether this is a barbel or a chub. I've actually got that other rod caught in the tree. That's a good start, isn't it? This one's doing well to get into these reeds. Okay, we've got it hopefully in front of us now. There we go. One chub. Right, well that's another really fast start. A bit like in the first swim earlier this morning. That rod's only been out a few minutes and I've already got a fish. So yeah, it's not a barbel, it's a chub. But still, £3.8, so yeah, £3.5. Nice start to the session. Let's hope that means there's a few other fish hiding in this sort of slightly slacker water down to my left. Right, get it gone again. I don't know what's going on today. I can't get both rods out. Not that I'm really complaining, but yeah. I've just tried to put a few sticks here so I didn't get a chance to finish it. I don't think this one's a chub. I think it might have found a snag. Oh no. Oh, I think it has found a snag. Let's try and change the angle. No. He's really looking to change the angle. Not really go much further than this. Oh, that's worked. Blimey. Let's hope it is the barbel. In the net. Oh, that was a battle. That certainly was a battle. Right, well, another fish. I mean, I literally can't get both rods out at the moment. Obviously, I'm not complaining. But yeah, here we go. A barbel for this swim. £6.7. So yeah, not massive, but still very nice. I'm having a good day so far. So what's that, 3 barbel and a chub already? Right, get it back and see if I can get both rods out. In again. This is motoring as well. That took... No, don't tell me that's in, or is it gone? Don't know whether it's caught the other one. I think I might have. Ooh. We do. In he goes. In he goes. Oh. Right, well, another fish. They're coming pretty thick and fast, all on the same inside rod as well. I'm wondering whether to bother with the other rod. I didn't weigh this one actually. It's, I don't know, 4, 5, 4.5, somewhere around that anyway. Yeah, I didn't bother weighing it, but another fish. Most excellent. Let's get it back. Well, here's that barbel, nicely rested. Try and get its nose up so we can see where it goes. There it is. Come on, get your nose up. There he goes. Thanks for popping in. We are in again. I can barely sit down before there's a fish on. This is pretty amazing. Oh, come off. Not so amazing. Just lost one. Just come off.
Literally just then.
Yeah. Again on the inside one. Yeah, come off. Well, what a hectic start to the session here. Literally put the first rod out and it went almost immediately with the chub. Before I even got to the rod out. Put that left hand rod back out again. Went again, barbel. Again, still hadn't got the right hand rod out. Put it out again. I think I did manage to get the other rod out because it sort of hooked on the line. I managed to get it off. Another barbel. So 2 barbel and a chub. And then the left hand rod went again. Unfortunately this time the hook pulled literally as I picked the rod up and felt the fish. But by the run it was probably another barbel. So yeah, really hectic start to the session. I've just had a little bit of a lull at the moment. So I've just managed to have a roll and a cup of coffee. But yeah, it's going well so far. I mean, it's only going to be a daytime session, so I've only got another 2 or 3 hours before it'll be time to go. You can night fish this section, but I don't have any night fishing equipment with me, and I've got work tomorrow anyway. So yeah, great session so far. Oh, my left hand rod just pinged. I mean, I don't do daytime sessions that often. Obviously I managed to do the one last week, and then it's a week later now. I think I said earlier, yeah, it's the following week, and I decided to have another daytime session. So yeah, so far so good. Hopefully we might get a few more before it's time to go. I was actually watching some fishing videos on YouTube the other day. I do like to watch videos anyway, just because I enjoy it, but also I like to watch other people's videos, see how they're filming and what they're doing. I was watching Diary of an Angler. I think he often fishes on the Avon, but he was on the River Wye. And he had some great footage using a drone of all the mist on the River Wye in the morning. It's really good footage. I keep thinking about getting a drone, but I'm really not sure how much I need to spend. Obviously if you spend a lot and get a drone with all whistles and bells, but I don't want to spend that much really. But if you go too cheap, I've tried a little cheap one and it just was tiny and it was really difficult to fly, and got knocked about in the wind, and so I'm not really sure where to go in terms of a drone. So if anybody out there is particularly knowledgeable, you can give me some direction of sort of what I need to spend to get just a decent drone that will enable me to do a bit of footage from when I'm fishing. I won't use it for anything else, but just one that's reasonably easy to fly and record but isn't too expensive. So if anybody out there is particularly knowledgeable, drop me a message, personal message, or put it in the comments. Be interested to know. And I was watching another guy, and he was fishing on the River Trent. He did a couple of days on the Trent, daytime sessions, and he was talking about how addictive fishing is. And I must admit, I can relate to that. I mean, it's not that warm today, it's about 12 degrees, but you know, I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but you still love doing it. You know, when I got up this morning and started to drive to the river, you know, I was so looking forward to it. You know, you get up early in the morning and you're super energized straight away, really focused, want to get out and get fishing. And all week I think about fishing. All week I think about where I'm going to go, which pegs I might fish, or what stretches, how I might fish. You know, you always visualize, you know, having a good session. It is so addictive. So on my right hand rod just pinged in as well. They're both pinging a little bit. Yeah, and I think almost the mystery of fishing, you never know whether you're going to catch or not. Either what fish, or whether you're going to blank, or you're going to have a good day, or you just don't know what's going to happen when you go fishing. I think that mystery sort of helps maintain the sort of desire to get out and fish. And if you watch my videos, you'll know that I like to fish different pegs. I've never fished this peg before. I like to try different stretches, and I think that almost adds to that, the mystery of what's going to happen. I know some people like to fish the same pegs and become an expert on a particular stretch, and that's fine. I'm not knocking anyone who does that, but I like the the challenge of fishing different stretches, but also the mystery of not knowing what's going to happen. And today's one of those days. It's daytime, so you know, you never really know whether you're going to find any fish in the day. The river's still quite high. But yeah, I really can relate to that guy who was talking about how addictive it is to go fishing. Right, I'm going to, the rods have been out for a little while now, and they've had a bit of a lull, so I think I'm going to recast both rods, get the feeders filled again. I'm using sort of soaked pellets in the feeders. They were soaked overnight, so they squash into the feeder well, but then they'll release when they're in the flow. So yeah, I think I'm going to recast and see if I can spark some interest. So, see you later. Right, well it's 3 o'clock now, so it's been pretty quiet for a while. Right, so here's my rig. It's just a 2-ounce feeder with soaked pellets in it. Got a 14mm pellet on the hook. It's a size 10 hook, fluorocarbon hook length, 2.5 pound test curve rod. Casting's quite difficult because I've got these trees above me. We can put a sort of slight side. So this one's going sort of more into the slightly slacker water on the inside, and this is the one where all the fish have come from. There you go. That one's back out down there. Right, well it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, after a hectic start where I had 3 fish caught and 1 fish lost in the first hour. It's been very quiet since then, so it's been a couple of hours now with no bites at all really. So I've got about an hour left to see if anything does decide to return and feed. The fish have probably backed off or moved on. Just got to hope maybe if they're still in the area they might come back. I've been recasting every 20 minutes to half an hour, so keep the feed going in. Yeah, so hopefully they might return before it gets dark. Catch you later. Here we have a last minute fish by the looks of it. No, we don't. Oh, it must have been a line. I don't believe it. Oh, that was definitely going. Must have been a line bite. Bastard. Well, that's the end of the session. A bit disappointing in the end that after a blistering start in this peg, where, you know, I had 3 fish and lost 1, after that it's just been really quiet. I've been here probably another 2 or 3 hours since then with no more bites. So yeah, I just had what I thought was a last minute bite, but there was nothing on the end, so it must have just been caught in the line, I think. But not a bad day. Obviously started this morning on a completely different stretch. 2 fish within sort of 15 minutes. Thought I was going to be in for an amazing day, but then had to move because of the match. After visiting another section, ended up here, and as I just said, after a great start, it's then sort of quietened down, but still I had 2 barbel this morning on the first section, 2 barbel and a chub here, so full barbel. Not too bad. I must admit I've enjoyed my daytime sessions the last couple of weeks. You tend to see other anglers. I've had a good chat with a couple of other anglers here, and yeah, it's been nice to be out in the daytime for a change. Yeah, enjoyed it. So that's the end of the video anyway, so hope you enjoy it. If you did, maybe subscribe. I'll see you again. Cheers.